Hola, buenos días, bienvenidos.
Good morning. Welcome to the second interactive session. I would just like to make that comment, and we will start in a few minutes. But before starting, I would like to remind you that this conference will be in Spanish, and it is about health and wellness. If you are not in the correct session, you can move to the session you would like to attend. And we are going to start in 1 minute. I know that there are some people that are still coming in, so we're going to wait. I would also like to remind you that if you want to select another language, you can choose the globe right under your screen and you at the bottom of your screen, and you can listen to the presentation in a different language. If you don't want to listen to the presentation in Spanish. Okay, so welcome to our workshop, Health and Wellness Workshop. We know that you are sacrificing lots of things so as to be here today, and we are thankful for that. I am Rosario Hernández. I am educational policies analyst in the Latino Forum, and we are a state organizations, and we focus on 4 different areas in education, housing, immigration, and we also have a leadership program for the community. And we're going to speak about health and wellness. I'm really thrilled to share with you the information that we have today, but I know that you know a lot about this topic, so I would like you to make comments if you have comments in the chat, or if you would like to unmute and participate, you are welcome to do so as well. And we can talk about this topic. So, we already know that health and wellness is the basis for socio-emotional development, and that starts on an early stage, since the moment that children are born. So before starting, I would like to start making a question so as to get to know a little bit about you. What does health and wellness mean to you? We know that we have different perspectives, so I would like to hear from you. What is it that you think that health and wellness means for you? And if you want to speak, you can unmute directly because I cannot see you, and you can share your answer with the whole group. You are welcome to do so. So I'm going to allow for a minute so as to see whether we have an answer. But before, let's see. Good afternoon. My name is Erika Osorio. Welcome, Erika. Thank you for sharing. Well, health is really important, and it encompasses the emotional environment we are immersed in our home at home. And we know that psychological and mental health is impacted by this environment and also has an impact on children. And it also encompasses food, and that can be also reflected on emotional and educational well-being as well. So it's very broad. Yes, your answer talked about different fields, psychological area and food as well. So there are different areas. I would like to also share an answer that was left here in the chat. Support children in all areas: mental health, nutrition. Lore, thank you. Alma says, this is well-being is to be well physically and emotionally as well. And there are certain people who are introducing themselves, so thank you for being here. I would like to share what it means for me. When I think about this topic, what comes to my mind is something that I have to maintain every day through healthy habits. That is something that we have to include in our everyday lives and to help our kids to develop those healthy habits as well. So today we are going to go over different areas, and this session is divided in two sections. The first one has to do with raising and the first session will talk about how we should care ourselves and take care of ourselves before starting to care for others. And the second one has to do on how to share those ideas so as to give the children the support that they need. I am also going to share some information and some resources regarding mental health. I like to hear the radio a lot, so I have several radio programs that I like to hear, and I will share those titles with you. And I would also like to remind you that your experiences and your voices are very important for us today, and it's important for you to engage and participate. So I would just like to say that. Thanks. So the reason why I did that question at the beginning, what does it mean, health and wellness? This is to help us reflect upon our perspective of what these mean. We know it's important because we want to feel well, but as parents and child carers, we have greater responsibilities to help kids to develop healthy habits. Certain research teaches that for human beings to develop their full potential, they have to fulfill their needs. And there is a psychologist that developed this pyramid, and he says that these areas have to be developed so as to reach an outcome so that they can develop their full potential. These areas have to have certain equilibrium, certain balance, and we need first to cover basic needs. That's the bottom of the pyramid. It means oxygen, water, food, shelter, to sleep, clothing needs as well, basic needs. We also need safety, or safety and personal security. We need resources, we need health. And then we have the third level, which is social needs. Friendship, we must feel connected to each other, intimacy, family. And then we have esteem. We need to feel self-respected, to have good self-esteem, high self-esteem status. We need our goals and our achievements to be acknowledged. We need strength, freedom. And then when we reach that point of developing our full potential, and we have to take into consideration that we need to strike a balance in all these areas. For instance, I cannot say, okay, I like being with my family and I spend lots of time with him and with them, and we have quality time, but we also have to warranty that they feel safe and that their basic needs are covered. I know that COVID has made it more complex to fill out these areas, especially because children have been isolated during the last year. They have been at home. They probably do not have sisters or brothers at home or other kids at home. So this year it has been really difficult for them. It has been a very hard year. So as parents, we cannot be with our families during this year because of the COVID, or probably lots of people have lost their job. So this is very important to take into account. We have to strike a balance. But we also need to warranty that kids have an environment where they can make progress and develop themselves. We know that at these times this is difficult, but we need an environment where they feel safe, where they feel loved, protected, respected, so that they can develop themselves. And that will start with it starts from us, parents, carers. We need to take care of ourselves before caring other people, because if we care ourselves, we are going to be better parents, because we are going to teach them the important things in lives. So I like this sentence which says, in order to help other people, sorry, I have an allergy. So in order to help others, we first have to fill our own cup. If we give other people what is in our cup, our own energy supply will be depleted much faster, and we will not be able to help ourselves and those we love. And I would also like to tell you, this year hasn't been easy for parents. Parents often say, okay, I need time for myself. It's difficult to take time for myself because I'm always working, or I'm with my kids at home and I don't have enough time. But we know that there are lots of benefits, and we have to at least take 10 minutes a day so as to clear our mind, so as to be more patient, and so as to open our minds a little bit. I would like to acknowledge this has been not easy times. There are lots of people that have several economic burdens and responsibilities. There are people that are worried about their health. They may have lost their jobs and they have probably fewer work, and they have to take care of their families. And as parents, we also had to help children with remote learning. So all those responsibilities do not leave much time, and they can be stressing. So I would like to remind you that each father or mother is different. We have different resources at our disposal, and if we are doing our best in the moment we are, that's the important thing. We may have different privileges, and we are not here to tell you how to be or to give you instructions, because we know that each person is different, is unique, that you have different experiences. That's not what we mean. We want you to take care of yourselves the best you can, and take at least 10 minutes a day for yourself, because we know that the impact on health during this period and during a lot of time or stress will be felt by your bodies, or probably your bodies are already feeling this. Probably you notice some changes in your mind because of all the things that have happened in the whole world. So I would like to take a few moments so as to reflect on these questions, so as to see how you have felt during the last year. I am going to read some of the questions, but if you would like to participate and to tell us about a little bit more about the answers to the questions, or probably you have a comment to make, you can also make a comment after I read the questions. Have you experienced headache, muscular tension, or nausea? Have you felt overwhelmed because of your responsibilities? Is it difficult for you to concentrate on tasks or to be motivated? Are you eating too much, or probably you are not eating at all? Probably time elapses and we realize we haven't eaten anything. If you already answered affirmatively to all these questions, or most of these questions, this can be a signal that you need to take a step back. So not so as to help your emotional state only, but also your health, because research shows that in the long term, stress, toxic stress, can interrupt the digestive systems, reproductive systems. So you are going to start noticing that in your body, and the tension can contribute to health problems such as high blood pressures, heart diseases, diabetes, and other sickness such as depression, anxiety. My mother has high blood pressure, and I tell her, okay, mom, you have to try not to stress a lot, because if not, your blood pressure will rise. So those are issues that you may have already experienced, but you have to try to take a step back and to try to make some changes so as to have those minutes to allocate to yourself, so as to rest your mind and take care of yourself. You have to try to do something that relaxes you or makes you feel calm. You can do an activity, different activities, and we are going to go in further detail in the next few minutes. But if you are like me, I like natural things and activities, so I will bring you 5 natural medicines so as to give you some guidelines. You can use this as a guideline for yourself, and so that you can take care of yourself. The first one is to sleep. Do we have a comment? Erika? Sorry, my audio was activated accidentally. Okay, that's okay. If you want to share something, you can raise up your hand or you can unmute. So the first natural medicine is to sleep. Are you resting enough? There are people that don't need 8 hours. My mom, for instance, she sleeps 6 hours and her body is used to that. You have to assess how you feel. You may need 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. It depends on your body, but you have to feel rested. That is what matters. Food. What are you doing so that your body gets the nutrients you need. Balanced food, probably we may like cakes or tacos, but probably it's not the most healthy kind of food, so we should eat more vegetables or broth or different things that can provide nutrients for our bodies. Fruit, it's important to have a balanced diet. We can eat all the other food, but not in excess. Movement, are you moving your own body? If we live in Chicago and we are going into out of winter, but now that it's nicer, we can take a walk. If you are having lots of computer meetings, probably you can breathe deeper and because sometimes we are not breathing correctly, so that we can train our lungs on how to breathe. So as to breathe to our fullest capacity. Mind and spirit, it's important to rest our minds, and you can do that by watching a movie or using the phone, but we also have to take into consideration that all the news that we have seen and all the negative things we've seen, we have to try to take them up positively, whether it's statements or sentences that we say to ourselves so as to feel well. I am Rosario, and I tell myself, okay, Rosario, you did a great job today. You should be proud of yourself. You could do this, and that.
So we have to think of recognizing all of our efforts as parents or as children. So I made myself the time, and that's a good thing I did as a parent, because that will help them in the future. Then in terms of environment, it's also important for you to feel at home or where you work. You should feel safe, and there should be peace. And one way of accomplishing this is to keep things in order at home. Sometimes I leave things all over the place, and that even gives me some anxiety. So it's important to be organized so you can also feel at ease. So all these are steps we can take and see where we can adjust a little bit and align ourselves. I'm sure that you all deal with all these areas differently. So why don't we hear from you and try to answer these questions? So what does personal care mean to you, and how have you practiced personal care? So if you can write on the chat box, or if you can unmute yourselves and just share what you think with us, you can do it right now. Is there a brave person here who wants to share and be the first? Someone says doing the garden or gardening, so that's really nice to have a garden. Seeing all the flowers grow, that's really good for personal care. I will also share with you some of the things I do. Netflix, watching comedies, because I love to laugh after a long week or maybe a long day. I just want to laugh or enjoy a good movie. And we have Kenya Melendez who says knitting. Well, that's also a very good way of personal care. Knitting brings many benefits. Some research has shown that it's good for mental health. Music. Every morning I try to listen to music that cheers me and makes me have a positive day. I like Mark Anthony, Buena Vista Social Club, salsa, cumbia, all that cheers me up in the mornings. Then dancing, going to the park, cooking or playing games with my family. I love playing the lottery with my family. It gets quite intense, but I still love to share that with my family. If you have any other comments or answers, yes, hi. I think something I don't do all the time. Get away from my routine. That's right. I agree with that. Thank you, Daisy. And I also love these home remedies. I took this from a book I love to read, but this author shares a lot of natural recipes that you can try if you're at home and you want to take a break. For example, you can put on this face mask, or she also gives recipes for teas and things to calm your nerves down. It's a bilingual book, and I will show you the book name later on, but I wanted to share this homemade mask that you can prepare. That's another way of personal care. So there's many ways in which we can start caring for ourselves. So as adults, we have also different ways to look after ourselves and take care of ourselves. Now it's time to also understand the social development and emotional development of your child. So these are the social emotional development areas at early childhood. So children are born with the need and the wish to connect with those who surround them and with the people around them. So with them, they establish positive relationships. They consider different cultures and languages. Children feel safe and protected, and that sets the foundation for a healthy social and emotional development. So these are the main foundations for the early childhood stage. So this is the emotional awareness stage or pillar. This makes them identify and understand their own feelings. I don't know if you could please mute yourselves. Thank you. So this is the first stage, also being able to read and understand the emotional state of others. Self-regulation means to handle strong emotions and expressions in a constructive way. As human beings, it is normal for us to go through different emotions, but it's also important to consider that they shouldn't respond in a way that can harm themselves or others. So, with that, we also have social interaction for them to develop empathy towards others and establish and maintaining relationships with others and healthy relationships. And research has also shown that a solid and a strong basis at early childhood impacts positive behaviors later on. So you can see this in the long term. If they have a strong base in their early childhood, they will probably be better in the future. So we also know that, as I said, the other development areas were found at early childhood and early stages. Now we are looking at older children, health and well-being for high school children. This is connected with them being connected with others, maybe through sport activities or clubs. Health means that they have a healthy behavior in their different environments. So we have to take all these areas into consideration for older children. We also know that they have been through a hard time, so all these areas have been difficult to cover. They are also worried about their health. Depending on their age, they are going to show these feelings differently. Maybe a young child will not be able to tell you, but you will be able to see it with their behaviors when they are going through strong emotions. Working, we have also seen children at high school that are working. Maybe they looked after their younger siblings. They've been worrying for the well-being of their family members. Maybe they lost someone because of COVID, and this is a very painful transition and situation. And remote learning has also been an important thing. It hasn't been easy for them. We've heard many responses from high school students saying that remote learning is very difficult for them. And we are going to go deep into this in our next slide. But for now, I just wanted to give you this general vision. Each child has a different way of thinking and feeling and expressing their feelings. Many people think that if I have two children and one of them is doing really well with their subjects and their remote learning and the other isn't, they are siblings, they should be performing in the same way. But that's not like that. Each child has their own reactions, they develop in their own way. So this is something important to consider. And learning to deal with our emotions is something we learn at each stage in life at our own pace, at our own pace. And it also has to do with the relationships we build with our caregivers, our parents and the adults we interact with. So we need to handle stress effectively, helping our children be more prepared to face their challenges in life. It's also important to teach children to communicate and look for help when they need it, be it with a teacher, a caregiver, another adult. So all these are skills that they can use in their lives. So if we teach them all these from the beginning, they will be able to know how to use them when they are facing other challenges in life. So here we have two responses we've received from high school students regarding remote learning. The first one goes, I got too distracted at home with my siblings at school and I can't concentrate or I can't focus because then I have to go to work or I simply don't feel comfortable in my room or in the kitchen. And I've tried to go to the library, but the closest one is closed. So that's the biggest challenge I have. The second student says, I also have to work, but trying to do all my work is frustrating. I don't see any progress. Teachers constantly assign different tasks every day, so I don't have enough time and I always stay behind. So when they have these challenges, if we can teach them or give them the tools they need to control their stress or to see how they can feel less stressed, they will be able to navigate these more easily. But now I want to invite a discussion, and I have this scenario that I can propose to you. It could be that your child is not on remote learning right now. Maybe they are already going to school in person. So maybe it's not applicable to your to your child. But for those parents who still have their children at home and are still doing remote learning, and if your children are not sharing things with other children their age, this could help think of different ideas to fill those gaps which are really important for them to be able to develop in a healthy way. So after a long day, your child is tired of staying at home and participating in remote learning. They insist in going out with friends. You know they need social connection as part of their social emotional development, but at this time, the city is recommending for everyone to stay at home. How can you support your child's social emotional needs while you care for their safety? So if you have any opinions or any comments, how have you made sure your children have that time with other children their age in these times where we haven't been able to meet with others in person? So I can go. Honestly, my child hasn't shared much time with others. I have an 11-year-old and a baby who is 3. So they have different ages, their game preferences are very different. So as parents, we have to devote time to maybe play board games or fun things for the bigger one, because for the youngest one, it's different. But they haven't shared things with children their age, only very few times. Yes, and it's very difficult, right? I have a nephew, and my sister has been really strict following the recommendations from the city to stay at home, and he hasn't shared much time with other children. So something we've heard is that you can video call a family member, a cousin, or someone who is their age. Try to meet on Zoom as a family, play online games. My nephew is about 12 and he likes to play video games, and sometimes he wears his headphones to play with his cousin and they talk that way. There are different ways as parents that we can encourage, and what you mentioned, Daisy, is really important, and it's so nice to take time to share with your children. And it's also important to try to find different manners or different ways so they can also talk with a friend or a cousin who is their age. Maybe they can do it online. We have to be careful, of course, but they can try to talk with these friends. Thank you for sharing that. here we have other questions you can ask your children to have that communication with them, depending on their age. So the first question that you can ask, even a 5-year-old, is, what are you grateful for today? Why is that question so important? It's because research has shown that those who are grateful every day or frequently, people who are thankful for things they have in life, live a happier life. And even 5-year-old children can be asked this question every day, and they can think of 3 things they are thankful for. It could even be a small thing, sometimes things we don't think about, but having basic things that maybe some other people don't have. So we should be thankful for what we have. Have you spoken with family or friends? I spoke with my grandparents. I remember when they told me stories, and that was so nice to me. So I can shape my identity, where I'm coming from, what challenges they've gone through, and learning about their stories. That was something really nice, and that's something I will keep for my life. Have you walked or exercised? So trying to move with them for at least 10 minutes a day, dancing in the room, trying to move their body, because maybe they are also facing the computer because of the remote learning. So it's good to try to make them move their bodies a little bit. Promote a healthy schedule, to have them sleep 8 or 10 hours a day, go out for a walk, and keep active. I know that we are only we just have 3 minutes left, and I know that the workshop will be cut off at 12:45, but if you could leave your answers on the chat about the question that is displayed on the screen. What supports do you find more necessary at this moment? I think this workshop had to do with what you can do as parents to help your children, but as an organization that advocates for rights in the community, we always want to speak with parents and community members to know what supports are necessary and stand for that at a city and a state level. So if you have any answers to that questions, please share them in the chat. I will share the resources before our program ends. So the name of the book I told you about is the New Latinas Bible, but it's a bilingual book. And we also have a video for parents with young children. The name is Young Children Have Great Emotions. There's an emotion behind each action or every action. So this video is focused on trying to understand children who may not be able to communicate how they feel, but through their actions that says a lot. Then, as to mental health resources, I love this website. It's called Latin X Therapy. They have different books and resources that you can use to improve your mental health. We also have some applications that I like. If you like to listen to the radio, or if you have Spotify or Apple Music and you've listened to podcasts, that's basically an online radio. I love this one called La Cura, the healing. It talks about different topics and different natural solutions to look after our mental health. It's really good. Se regalan dudas. Doubts are given out as a gift. That's another podcast that is also really nice. After our session, I will send you an email, so don't worry, you will receive all these resources. And if you have any questions, please send me an email. You can see my email address on the screen. You can send me an email. Thank you, everyone, for all your answers. I will save my chat now. And please also follow us on our social media. We have Latino Policy Forum. We post different events and different actions that parents can take regarding their children's education. We held a previous workshop where we spoke about how to advocate for your children's education. That recording will also be available, and after our session, we will post this workshop in our social media. So I know it was a lot of information. I hope you all liked it, and I hope this information to be useful. And at least I hope one or two things you can take away, and I hope you can apply it with your children, and that you can try different activities. So this concludes today's program. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I appreciate your time, but now I'm giving your Saturday back to you so you can enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye. Thank you.